When I think about people and the stage of life that we're in, as we look at the world and what's happening in the culture, there are a lot of reasons for us to be fighting to maintain what we know is true or hope is true. As we see the world change, as we see some of the weaker parts of humanity on full display, people can begin to feel uncertain and wonder where they fit in the midst of it all. And part of what I love about this book is that it is an invitation for us to know better, to hang on to what we know, to understand what it means to know in the midst of uncertainty. So I'm wondering, can you talk a little bit about what you sense happening in the world, the instability and the response that is available to us as people of faith and questions, people of faith and questions?
For sure. I was almost tempted to say that the world has never been here before, but the world has had iterations and moments of uncertainty in the past that we have overcome. But we didn't live in those moments. We didn't live in those times where there were real existential threats. So what really inspired me to write Knowing was I saw a scary world. I saw divide and unrest and threats of all sorts and types, from, climate issues to natural disasters to wars and the rumors of wars, to the shaky economy and how that shaky economy trickled down to individuals. From, pandemics. The world got real scary. I remember being in the pandemic, and the reality of it was, are we even going to make it through this? Yeah. And so I recognize how violent not navigating uncertainty is. And what I mean by violent is, even like the brain is wired for predictability. And when I think about the season that we're in, uncertainty is not like seasonal. It literally is the weather right now.
Yeah.
Like every single day, something new happens that threatens literally life.
We're talking about going rogue all this year, and I feel like there is an opportunity with Knowing for us to consider what it looks like to go rogue in a world that has gone rogue.
Yeah.
What does our response look like? And I'm thinking, when I talk to people, when I'm looking at DMs, when I'm preaching, when I'm speaking to people are really afraid. Like, there are moments where, life seems normal. And then there are other moments where you can just tell at any second, at any headline, any news alert, everything that I know to be true can be stripped away from me. The job market, the economy, like what I know as safety right now it feels like it's slipping through our hands. Yeah. And yet you are saying that it is possible for us to see what's happening in the world and to navigate it with a sense of knowing that changes the way we show up.
For sure. And, I love that the theme of the year for you and the people that you lead is going rogue. I love that, because that's what really Knowing is about. Like for me, going rogue is having this radical freedom, this cultivated and developed freedom, which I believe Knowing gives you, that allows you to not be crippled by what's taking place, but to be free enough to, with optimistic expectation, radical freedom, not just cute freedom. I mean, being radically free, and to be driven by that freedom with this optimistic expectation, which I talk about in the book a little bit, to expect unprecedented outcomes. You have to, sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. You mentioned that, the world has gone rogue, and it has. So you can't be timid and constrained and limited and boxed in. And so it is radical freedom with radical optimism to see radical positive things take place through your life.
I love that you're using the word freedom, Because I do believe that there is a freedom that is available to us if we can figure out how to let go of the way we think things had to be. And okay, so there's a part in your book. I wasn't going to go straight into the book, but there's a part because you brought up the word freedom. I want to read this portion of the book, and you're talking about letting go. And a lot of times when people think about letting go, there's a reluctance, a grief connected to it. And yet in this book, you are framing it in a way that allows us to see letting go as liberation instead. And I want to lean into that a little bit as we talk about going rogue, because there is a little bit of a nervousness that can come with it, and uncertainty. Part of the reason why we can't go rogue is like the world is uncertain, and going rogue seems definitely uncertain. So it's like, the devil you know versus the one that you don't. But there is a freedom. I want to read what you wrote about letting go. You said it wasn't faithlessness. It was freedom. I was being invited to unlearn the beliefs I built from pain, to unlearn the roles I thought I had to play, to unlearn the patterns I accepted as normal, but that were never aligned with who I was. Can we talk a little bit about the power of letting go and the freedom that is connected to it?
Yeah, I think the imagery that I have is a mummy. But a mummy is about preservation. They put this whatever around this body to preserve it in whatever state it was before it expired. And that seems really cool. And I think it works for dead things, but it wouldn't work for a living thing, because life wraps us like a mummy. It wraps us in moments. It wraps us in experiences, and we become wrapped so tightly that we cannot move, nor can we take the form or shape that is relevant to who we have become, who we are becoming, and the shape that it takes to really have impact in life and to live a healthy and abundant life. And so for me, I realized that my journey to wholeness, my journey to become everything that God has called me to become, is going to require new iterations of myself. And so in order to become, I have to unbecome. We always talk about becoming as if becoming is an automatic process. But if you are becoming, that means that simultaneously you are becoming. So what is your part in aligning with that unbecoming? Your part, your sacrifice, your offering in that process is being willing to let go. And it only works in the context of God's love. It only works in the context of knowing, there's that word, knowing how God sees you, how God feels about you, and also knowing that you are, in the very moment that you're standing in, known by God. That's what creates the freedom. I'm free to unwrap myself, to unmummify myself, if I might use the word. I'm free to let go, because I recognize that I'm not even the one unwrapping myself. God is, in the context of his love.
Oh, that's so good to me, because I'm thinking about my own life experiences of being wrapped up in fear and shame and insecurity. And I feel like for me, rapping, it's almost like, okay, since we're using analogies, right? It's almost like a yo-yo, right? So like I can feel myself like come a loose, but then one trauma, one bad experience, and instantly I can retract so easily back into that mummy state. When I sense rejection, when I sense abandonment, inadequacy, insecurity, it's almost like it has become my default setting. And though there are moments where I'm able to be free from that, I think the idea of living in it all the time is both seductive and scary. And I think a lot of people are like this, where they want to experience that freedom. But I think I have a fear of like, who would I be on the other side of like constantly being free? Like, could I trust myself? I think there's something that makes us believe that as long as I stay a little afraid, then I don't have to worry about failure. I don't have to worry about people seeing me the wrong way. Like, cause fear does serve us in some ways. Like, it's so easy for people to say, like, get out of your comfort zone, step out on faith, do the thing that scares you. But fear makes me believe I'm keeping myself safe. And the idea of just like letting it all out and not caring requires a level of vulnerability. But I don't know. This is what I feel like I have to battle. And what I think someone may be battling is like, I don't know if God can love me in that condition of freedom in a way that makes me forget all of the things I'm afraid of.
You know, we have to remember that we were created in a state of freedom. Okay. And the moment that we started questioning is when that freedom, and we were seduced into questioning.
Yeah.
That freedom became something that the enemy exploited, and he took that freedom. And God gave us free will. He took that freedom and perverted it and used it against us.
Yeah.
And the only way that he was able to use it against us was to get us to question and not know, because we were created in the context of knowing. We were set. We were in uninterrupted relationship with God. We had the omniscient one as our teacher, which means that to a certain degree, we were tapped into knowing. And when the enemy comes, he attacks that knowing. So anyway, as it relates to freedom, freedom is actually our portion. To not be free is unnatural. He didn't, but again, so I think if a person struggles with freedom, first of all, they have to recognize that God can handle the stumblings of freedom. Freedom, we will
that's so good.
stumble. We will, going rogue means that it's going to be unpolished sometimes. It's going to be, there are going to be mistakes, right? What's that scripture? The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And it says, though he fall.
Now, wait a minute.
Like, hold up. Like, so sometimes, and then let's not go there. Sometimes you can learn more from your fall. From your dip, from your mistake than you can if everything had flowed smoothly.